I thought I'd start something new in 2020 and just do some videos and just talk about kidney related stuff, whether it's dialysis or transplants. Um, so I thought I'd start off with something relatively basic, just in what I know about transplants and dialysis, and sort of just take it from there. So first of all, I've had 3 transplants. So I've had 2 living donated, both from my parents when I was younger, and then my last one, which was back a couple of years ago, was through the Paired Kidney Exchange. I've also got the perspective as a father who's got a daughter who's also had a transplant, so she's gone through dialysis and has had a transplant as well in 2018. So I've got perspectives from a couple of points of view, which people might find useful. Other people might just think I'm don't know crap. So yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of my background. So I thought I'd start off with something that we all sort of have to deal with as either dialysis patients or transplant patients, and that is medications. And so I thought I'd start that off, and then like I said, if you guys enjoy the video, then we can leave me a message, and if there's something else you want to talk about or you think that might be interesting, then let's do that. So as I said, I just wanted to try something a bit different and do a bit of discussion and take the stigma off kidney disease, whether it's dialysis or transplants or chronic illness. So yeah, medication. So everyone who's had a chronic illness, whether it be transplant or not, has to deal with the daily rigmarole of medications and their side effects. So I thought I'd just show what I have to do each morning, and might give you guys some ideas, or if you want to give me some ideas on a better preparation, then let's do that. So so I think the first thing I think that we should start off with is storing your medications. There's often a lot that you have to go through. So how do you keep your medications in tow, and how do you keep them in check? So what I've done is I have 2 systems. First one is that I have a drug box where I've got all my current medications that I use, and I'll grab it just here. So this is what we in the family know as the drug box for me. Yes, it's also, we put stickers on there as well, so just anywhere if we go out anywhere or anything like that, we try and find a sticker for Daddy's box, or for Lorelei's box now. So she's also got it. So in there, I've just got all my medications that I use. Some I'm sure we'll find familiar in there. So that's where I just have all my medication that I use. But for my day to day, I have a folder, also with stickers on there. If you can't tell, I'm a Roosters fan. And in there I've got all my, I'll have to go opposite with my camera. And in there I've got all my weekly tablets that I take. So I normally just set aside a day in a week when these are almost run out, and I put them all in there. And that's me for the week. I go to RPA, so they give you one of these for free when you become a transplant patient. I'm not sure what other hospitals do, but I find that the best system. So like I said, each week, and then I can see if there's any other medications I have to order for coming up, sort of thing. So yeah, so that's pretty much how I do it a weekly basis. So yeah, what do you guys do? How do you keep your medications in check? I'd be interested to see. And then, so what do we take? I don't know. As a dialysis patient, I was on a fairly low dose of everything, if not, I was hardly taking anything at all by the end of it. But I know a lot of other people have to take a myriad of drugs for different reasons, beta blockers and stuff like that, which I never had to take. So I was on a very low dose, and the only thing I had to take, I remember, was prednisone. And there was a few other vitamins and stuff like that, but generally I wasn't taking much medication at all during my dialysis period. But like I said, I know that there are a lot of people that have to take a fair bit, where I was lucky where I didn't have to do that. So I might focus a bit more on transplants and what happens there. So when I had my last transplant, they sit you down and they give you a whole myriad of drugs and concoctions and stuff like that, which can be sometimes overwhelming for a lot of people. Um, so I was okay with it because obviously I've done this a few times, so I'm not too sort of phased about it, and I've got my system, and for me it's pretty easy. But I know a lot of people find it difficult. When I was had my last transplant with a lot of people that I was with, they found it quite daunting, and which I can understand. So it's just something that as a transplant patient you have to sort of get your head around, and people find it different ways of doing it. I think the first and foremost thing is that you know what you're taking and why you're taking it. That's I think a very important thing that you need to do, and I've sort of drummed that into my daughter as well. She's 10, but she generally knows what she's taking and why she's taking it. And if you miss a dose or something like that, it's you can, well, if you can see there's a tablet not in there or something like that, then you at least know why you have to take it and where it is and all that kind of stuff. So I'll start off with the biggest ones, the big three that I call them, that you have to take, and they're part of the whole transplant sort of concoction. Prednisone is the first one. No one likes prednisone. My daughter hates it. No, I'm not a big fan of it either. It's bitter. It's disgusting. It does horrible things to your body. Does horrible things to you. Whether it's giving you osteoporosis, which I've got, or if it's making you hungry or hangry, or it's a steroid and it just sucks. I'm at a low dose at the moment, which is good, which is 5 milligrams. But I think when I started the transplant back in 2018, I think I was on 25 milligrams, and then it tapered down by half a milligram, or 2.5 milligrams here and there, sort of thing. So, and eventually ended up in with 5 milligrams. But that was the first one I'd take, and then it was tacrolimus, which I'm not on anymore. I've changed it because the tacro was toxic to the kidneys, so they changed me to sirolimus. But I was originally on tacro, and that was, and as you know, as a new transplant patient, it's always trying to get your tacro levels or your sirolimus levels to where they should be, whether they're too high or too low, and it's almost a daily juggling act with the doctors trying to get the right tacro dose, or and I know that it's pretty much your bloods would come back and your tacro's too high or too low or something like that. So it was always that's always a delicate balancing act. But once you get it, they're pretty easy tablets to take, and it's normally I think twice a day. I think you need to take the tacro. With sirolimus, only have to take that once a day. And then you've got mycophenolate, which I take. You've got two types. You've got Mofetil and Myfortic, depending on which ones you take. I'm on the Mofetil. I take that 3 times a day, and it's one of those drugs where it's got its side effects, but for me it's going to the toilet all the time. That's the problem with me with the mycophenolate. I know a few people suffer it from, and I've yet to find someone that's actually found a proper solution to try and help you with that. So they're the ones that they're the big three that you have to take. I think there are minor variations, but they're generally the ones. If your body can take them, they're the ones that you're given. They're the main three, and then you've got also the others, the accompanying ones. So you're either going to take blood pressure tablets, which I don't have to at the moment, but I used to take Enalapril, but I don't at the moment. The blood pressure's under control. There's also Lipitor that I take, which is for your blood for cholesterol and stuff like that. I'm on 40 milligrams of that, and then there's vitamin D that I have to take, calcitriol, stuff like that, just to keep everything else running. And the other thing that transplant patients now have to take is Bactrim. Well, as far as I know, anyway, I know my daughter takes it, and I take it as well on a daily basis for the pneumonia. I think it's type one of the types anyway. I'm not sure which one. So there's Bactrim as well. So that one's a hard one to take as well because it's normally you have to take half a tablet and it's tough to take. So it's like a horse tablet anyway. So yeah, so they're the drugs. So yeah, so I'd be interested to well 10 minutes. Yeah, I think that's enough for now. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think. How do you store your medications? Which ones do you take? Which ones do you hate? Do you have problems taking any of them? Stuff like that. So, and I'd be interested to hear suggestions on what the next video should be. If you've got any suggestions, I'm happy to talk about them. If I've dealt with it before, I'm happy to give suggestions or to say what I went through and stuff like that. I don't know. When I post the next one, maybe a week, we'll see if this gets enough likes and comments and stuff like that. So yeah, but other than that, we'll leave it at that, and do take it easy, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye.